Hi everybody, Derek here again from Crua. In this video I want to talk a little bit about new product introduction, NPI as we call it here. I suppose it's been central in everything we've done since the start. We've made loads of mistakes when it's come to NPI. The most common one I think is when you start out on this entrepreneurial journey, you're very, very focused on solving a problem, but over time that first principle thinking, as you would call it, kind of diminishes a little bit, and I'm certainly guilty of it. This year is very much, as I mentioned in the last video, all about refocus. We've heard the famous one about Henry Ford saying that if he asked his customers what they wanted, they'd have said a faster horse. And that would be an example, I suppose, of not focusing on the first principle problem. The problem is I want to get from A to B as quickly as possible. In our case, we want a better night's sleep. It's not how do I improve on the horse. We don't want to improve on the tent. We want to completely upheave what people expect from a night's sleep in the outdoors. We know that people are apprehensive about sleeping in a tent in the outdoors. You know, I know people myself that literally, I think, suffer from anxiety when they think about having to sleep in a tent. But they love the idea of being outdoors and they love being active, etc. But the whole idea of sleeping in the tent and not being able to sleep and being too hot or too cold, or waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning as soon as the light comes up. The first principle thinking is, what is the problem? Can we solve it? And the second part of that, I would say, is can we solve it at a price that is palatable for the market? You're changing the approach, you're changing what people expect from sleeping in the outdoors, but it also needs to be done in a reasonably cost-effective way, because you are disrupting, you're trying to disrupt a mindset, and that's going to make sure that you have, or ensure that you have, a much better outdoors experience, be that hiking, be that biking, be that climbing, be that whatever it is. I suppose the third part that I would introduce there now is the product on brand? In the past, we've gone off in different directions. We developed everything from blast-resistant tents, believe it or not, to small hammocks. And we've gone off in different tangents. Now it's not, it's very much focused again. Everything we're talking about development, and we have 3 or 4 different products at different stages of development at the moment. And everything we do is that on brand? Does it solve a problem? Can we do it at an acceptable price? Is it on brand? Otherwise, your brand message gets lost, it gets diluted, and it's very, very, very difficult to build a brand based on uncertainty around that. The last thing we want is to find we're halfway up the wrong ladder, as it were. You know, that we've built all these individual products that people want, but we've not built an overarching brand. And I think we've been guilty of that as well in the past. The other thing is timeline, I think, which is notable here. Our average timeline from first developing a product to actually getting it into people's hands is about 450 days. And that's us, a small startup, early stage business. Those timelines are much longer, obviously, for more mature businesses, but it is an eye opener. You know, you have to invest all through that time. You have to go through a number of iterations. You have to test in the field. There's a huge amount of grunt work almost involved in actually developing and testing. Again, another mistake we've made is not testing enough in the field. Now we are building upstairs an R&D center where we'll be able to test these tents in controlled climate. So we'll be able to control heat, wind, humidity, light, noise, etc. all upstairs here, and we'll be able to record that properly. So that's underway at the moment, but also testing in the field, because the field is a very different place as well, and making sure that we're seeing the problems ahead of time. So again, that's probably another eye-opening part. The last and my final point is the cost of new product development. If you're developing a product and you're in a business developing a product, you'll know this already, but if it's new to you, you have to make sure that you're accounting for all the hidden costs. So staff time, shipping. We've had our problems with shipping. We've seen where the shipping prices went, certainly over the last couple of years. So even shipping product to and fro, especially in our case where our suppliers are in the east, because of developing the R&D section upstairs, hopefully that'll be alleviated a little bit. But shipping is something that people forget about. If you have to ship, in our case, probably bigger boxes through maybe 10 or 15 iterations, you know, that adds up. Getting feedback from people who will give you blunt and honest feedback, sometimes you have to pay for that feedback. So there's loads and loads and loads of hidden costs, as well as on top of, you know, if you get a factory to develop a prototype of a product for you, they're going to charge you at least 10x for each one that they have to manufacture, 10x what the normal price would be, and that's at low water. So if you're getting a number of those through 10 iterations, again, you know, it's more cost. Whether you're a big company or medium size, or like us, small, new product innovation, new product development, new product introduction, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's a huge part of our business. You know, we have to continue with it, but I think we're a lot more focused and we're a lot more streetwise now, I think, as to what works, and we find out, just as importantly, what doesn't work, and we found out early in the process. Okay, because once you're in the hole, you have to stop digging. So if it's not going to work, you have to be prepared to walk away from it. We recognize, okay, that's not a goer, that's not going to work, it's not going to work with the brand or whatever the case is. Let's stop. So that's kind of 6 years of R&D and product development in a nutshell. Our next video is going to be a little bit around our crowd, I think, and our community, and the fundraising, I suppose, outside of VC world, because we haven't really engaged with VCs up to this point. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of background if you're new to Crua, of where we've come from, I guess. And the last thing I'll ask you to do is subscribe to the channel, hit the like I said in the last video, that's what all the cool YouTubers say, isn't it? But more importantly, it'd be great if you could share these videos or share the channel. We just want to build up this community and this channel. We're straight out of the blocks with it, so that's going to take some time, but we want to build it and invest in it, and hopefully you get some value from it as well. So yeah, share the link, and we'll talk to you on the next video about funding and our funding journey, I guess, and our ongoing funding journey and the importance of our community in that journey.